side, drifting down toward that 579. Again, I need to see it get back below 579. When it gets back below 579, I have a little bit of breathing space. But it's just riding right along the VWAP here. Very, very flat market here. Very, very flat. Again, still watching for the SPY to try to get below this 579 level. Just keeps flirting with it right on the VWAP. and can't get the SPY to move much here at all. This is about as flat as we can get. If we look, I mean, the candle's not tiny, but pretty tiny. This is just chop here, just chopping above and below the VWAP of it. Again, I took it here, and I'm still in it. I'm down money on it. I need to see it break below 579. Very sluggish market action right here. Good morning, Blake. Good morning. Thanks for all the YouTube folks watching the room here this morning. Again, as we're watching a SPY with a big gap up this morning, really a huge gap up. The Dow is up about 1,100 points on the tariff pause with China, going back to 30%, and from 145. We're going to hold it off for 90 days before they decide, but basically the market loved that. Also, the drug stocks are getting hit. Not terribly, but a little bit by the discussion about control or lowering the drug prices, prescription drug prices. But you can see Lilly is back up here now, moved up, it gapped down this morning, and it's moved up pretty nicely right now. Yes, and yeah, most of the stock markets prescription drug stocks are bouncing back. J&J bounced back. Again, I'm still watching the SPY. I'm still in this SPY super system trade. INHD, by the way, is another Momo stock. INHD, right there. Got quite a bit of room to the upside on INHD if you look at the daily chart of this thing. It's kind of a crazy looking chart. You can see where it is now, but if we go back and this is at 1449, we keep going back. It go way back. There's some spikes up here. And I don't know for sure if I can go back far enough to show this. No, I can't. to show it my TC2000 chart. Here's TC2000. There it is right there. Okay, that's a 5-minute chart. Let's go back to the daily. Here's the daily. Gotta go way back. All the way back here. Into 23. There's resistance level right there at 74. There's another one was down here, right there at 1324. We're just going through. You got another one at 1550. Big ranges on this. Very volatile stock. Really not something I'm going to recommend, but it's anybody's looking for these momentum stocks, this is a momentum stock. There it is right there. Now it's 1433. Big move right there. That's a $1.50, $1.40 right there in that candle. Okay. For anybody interested in trading them, I've already traded it. I'm in and out of it. Can't call these out. I can just point them out. You have to go in and you have to trade them yourself. You basically have to use support and resistance levels and trade them very carefully and very quickly. SPY still holding above 579. I can't move it all here. Okay, be right back. Just gonna grab some orange juice. Well, you have a question regarding the very nice D1 stocks like Palantir and Netflix. Last week it was very short exposed, and I picked the two with nice D1s as my long hedge. Palantir and Netflix. Yeah, listen, there's so much news that's coming. Palantir is still a good long setup. It was short this morning because it broke down on the 5-minute chart, but it's still a good long. Netflix also pulled back today. Right down to the 15, to the 8, right to the 15 on the daily chart, right to the 15 EMA. They tend to have with your experience, these tend to have a round of profit taking towards recent highs. Now, typically when you get to a high, it more likely is going to continue. But obviously in this market, there's a lot of profit. I don't blame people for taking profits. But Palantir still looks pretty good. Netflix looks kind of a weak this morning. But I think it's still a longer term, a good longer term trade for a long. It just depends on if you're in it with options or with stock. The nice D1s to mess you up. Well, listen, you're in a really volatile market here, which is why I have not recommended taking any swing trades, because this market could go either way. I've basically just been pretty much day trading, except for some straddles and strangles and things like that, but and some time spreads occasionally. But I just don't think that we can take positions right now for any length of period of time, because right now the market gapped up this morning. Right, the SPY gapped up above the 100 and above the 200 and above the 100, so it's broken out. I mean, it broke out to the long side this morning based on the tariff information. But it's a news break. This is not a technical break. It's a news break that's breaking over technical levels. But you don't know that you can stick with these things. So this is a market not to be taking very many swing type positions. You looked at the market agnostic. Yeah, the thing is that the market's we don't know which way it's going to go. But these news things can drive things up and down really quickly. I mean, look at the prescription drug talk this morning over Sunday night. Those stocks get clobbered this morning, and now they've come right back up again. So you have to have some saying power on these things. I mean, if you're long stock on these things, I think Netflix and Palantir are still good. Netflix is a little bit more questionable because it's down to the 15 on the daily, but I would be watching it. But very tricky. Again, I didn't have very little positions on. I got this bull put credit spread, which has gone way against me, but that's about it. And this was a really good risk reward. I was getting 60-cent credit for a dollar risk, which means I'm only risking 40 cents, $40 a contract on that thing. Other than that, I don't have anything on. I did some momentum trades today on INHD and GRYP. That's it. But those are very quick trades. Can't post them. They're very quick. I'm out of them already. GRY, don't even know what that's doing right now. GRYP. Yeah, pull back again. I got in this thing this morning at $2.20. I get out at about $2.80, so that was decent. But that's all I've done. And I've taken one SPY super system trade. I'm short the SPY right here at 5. I get the 579 puts expiring today. That's it. I'm just intraday trading. I just can't take positions, swing type positions right now. I just too risky. I mean, I've been trying to emphasize that here for the last few weeks, that we don't want to have any significant positions on long or short that are swing trades, because we don't know where the market's going to go. You know, because the gaps will hurt you. Like if you were short and the gapped up this morning, you get crushed. If you were long, if you were smart, you took your profits. Again, gaps are gifts. When the market gaps up and you're long, you want to take the profits. When it gaps down and you're short, you want to take the profits. Because this isn't what you get a lot of times on these gaps. You get this basically no movement. I mean, just sideways. Sometimes you'll get a gap and go. That's the least likely. Sometimes you get a gap and a retrace back into the gap, and a lot of times you'll get this gap and chop, and that's what we are right now. Again, the gap up was on the tariff news, and now the market's just digesting all that stuff, and it's not telling us that we're going to get this breakout's going to continue. I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm not going to trade something I don't know right now. Netflix call debit spread expiring this week. Yeah, probably. That's and again, the fact that you put a debit spread. I had a Netflix debit spread. I lost money on too last week, but at least it's a debit spread, so your risk is minimized. If you were taking straight calls in this thing, you'd be taking a much worse beating. You were thinking of an 1106 show support, the leg out. Well, with a debit spread, how are you going to leg out? Typically, all you can do on the leg out is you got your long one strike and short another. So if you're going to leg out, you got to close the short down. You can't close the long down and hold the short, because the shorts is you basically are going to really screw up your margin. Because you're short on Netflix at that point in time, you're going to have to, since you're short the calls, you're going to be in some serious trouble as far as margin is concerned. So you can't really close it out unless you close the short down and hold the long. The short should be worth pretty much nothing. So you can do that and hold the long and hope for a bounce. You're not going to cost you an all lot. Yeah, buying back the short call. Yeah, that's. I don't know what it's worth right now, WMB, but it's probably not worth much at all. And you'll let the long run. Yeah, but the long run is probably still way away from your strike price. But if you can buy back the put at the short call for, pennies, then that's nothing. That's a good idea, because if we get a big turnaround in Netflix and it moves back up again, you'll have taken the cap off your profits. Obviously, you cap a profits when you have a debit spread. You would be removing the cap, and the only additional risk you would have on the trade would be how much you're buying back the short calls for. That would add to, even if you have to buy them back for a dime, you'd be adding 10 cents to your total risk for the trade. All right. Again, SPY finally get down below the 579 briefly. See if it stays down there. Again, I'm still short here on the SPY. Looking to see if we get a breakdown. It is back below the VWAP, but just barely. Ruthie's at the computer.
I'm trying to figure out what's the best. I'm multitasking. I'm listening to this guy.
And here's some OJ.
Okay.
Take the pills this morning.
Eh?
Up and down we go in the market here. SPY just back up above 579, but not by much. Really just not much doing anything. Very, very tight range. Just compression right now. Alright, I'm just kind of watching again. The market just trading right at 579. Can't get it to go. It's just very compressed here, just moving sideways. It's about 11:30, a little after 11:30. The market hasn't gone anywhere since this gap up this morning, for the most part. At least, you know, the SPY hasn't. Apple, you see it. Apple is again, compression. Everything is compressing. Nvidia compressing. Tesla with a nice gap up this morning, compressing here now. Just not much movement at all here in the market. Volume pretty low in the SPY. It was really low on Friday. 37 million shares. Today we've traded 23 million, so it's a little bit better than Friday, but still well below average. Q's up about 3.2% right now. IWM up about 2.9, and the SPY up 2.6. So all the indexes still green, but not going anywhere. Very just compression in the market here. Gold's still pretty weak. Whoops. Gold's still pretty weak here this morning. Gold down about 2.6% right now. Bitcoin still up about, coin is up about 5.8%. Market just really, just a gap and flat as a pancake here. Again, I'm still on the SPY puts, so I'm looking for some sort of a movement here. So far, not much happening.
Yes.
American Tower, whoops. American Tower, a decent short today. Drifting down. eBay also very weak. Kraft Heinz, another stock this week. And these are stocks that have keep coming down while the market's going sideways. T2104 remains very bullish on T2104. Since this gap up this morning, it's still pacing up pretty nicely. Harry pointing out run looks good with relative strength. Solar stock. Yeah, looks pretty nice. Gapped up this morning, of course, with the rest of the market. I have 1065 as a resistance level on it. 1065 on run. Pretty big move up here this morning, up 12%. First Solar also up about 6%. It's sitting at resistance, but run's got resistance. I have it at 1065, about 11 cents higher. SPY coming down a little bit. INHD, excuse me, Momo stock, ripping up pretty nicely here now. INHD with a big pop. What? Oh. Hey Tony, good morning. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm happy to stream the stuff for an hour or so. Again, from the YouTube. Would you mind sharing how you enter, exit options positions? Is it just the limit orders all the way with occasional stops? I don't put stops on, and my exits are always limit orders. I basically, I'm not basing it on the option price. I'm basing it on the stock price. If I get into an option trade, it's based on the technicals. If I get out of an option trade, it's based on the technicals. The technicals being the actual stock price, either on a 5-minute chart or on a daily chart. If I'm swinging a trade, I'm looking at the daily chart. If I'm intraday trading it, I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. But when my support or resistance level breaks and closes below it or above it, if it goes against me, then I'm going to exit the trade right there with a limit order on the option price. I might have to make adjustments to it, but I don't ever use like market orders or anything like that. And I don't put hard stops on. SPY coming back down again here. 578.15. Take a look at my option position, see where I'm at. Getting close to even on that. I've lost some, obviously I've lost some time decay. We'll see if we fall any further. Roger, take a look at GIS, and good morning. Good morning, Roger. GIS, yeah, gapped up this morning above the 50-day moving average, but this is definitely a short right now. The consumer defensive stocks are not doing great. Kraft Heinz is down this morning about 0.8%. General Mills, that you just mentioned, down about 0.6%. Procter & Gamble is one of the few that's up this morning on the consumer defensive. But a lot of the consumer defensive are down today. But GIS is a decent short, yes. Price action has been coming in most of the day. Capped up here, and then it's capped up and pulled back. Nice look on that one, Roger. HA reversal on run out of with relative strength that you mentioned, Ari. Run. Yeah, it is breaking out of compression for sure. Moving to the upside again, 1065. It just broke through 1065. It's got room now, probably another 50-60 cents. There's a few horizontal resistance levels between it and the 200-day moving average, which is up at 1189. It's got a little bit of room though. Room to run, so to speak. Okay. I did a webinar this weekend, by the way, and I kind of inserted something in there that I haven't talked about before, but I think it's kind of appropriate actually as an analogy. Back when I was very young, late teens, early 20s, I made my living playing blackjack in Las Vegas. I learned to count cards. Took me about 6 months to learn to do that, but I became a card counter, and I went out there and I made profits. That's how I made my living. And the reason I thought it was a good analogy is when you're playing blackjack, for example, the house has an edge. It's a losing game. If you can't count cards, you're going to lose over the long term. And the reason I brought that up was because if you're trading and you don't have a good methodology and good strategies and good indicators to use, then you're gambling. You're gambling just like you are if you're in a casino. You've got to have some sort of an edge. And our edge, as far as I'm concerned, is the SPY super system. To me, is just like a card counting system for blackjack. It turns the odds from being against you to being in your favor. And it's really pretty simple, and that's why I brought it up, because I did that for quite a while when I was young. Worked out beautifully. It was an interesting time, and get barred from several casinos. But the point is, if you have a mathematical way to get an edge over whatever it is you're doing, then it becomes a profitable proposition. So in our case, just trading without any kind of good indicators and any good momentum, without the SPY super system, it becomes a gamble. I mean, you're just gambling. You throw in the SPY super system, and to me, this is just like a card counting system. It isn't blackjack. It changes the odds from against you to in your favor. Just kind of an interesting side note. You all right there, Ruth?
Swallowed wrong.
Oh, Lord. Alright, I took my SPY position off. I'm not going to mess around with this anymore. Just, I'll take a look at it later, but this is really dead. Moving around. I took about a 60-cent loss on it, so I'm done with that one for now. Still below the VWAP, but I took it off down here, and I'm done with it. We'll see what happens. This market is just really, really compressed. Tony, I probably have alerts around my exit criteria. I really don't. I mean, I'm usually I'm using the daily chart. I mean, I'll use the 5-minute chart if I'm in a position. Let's say it's a swing position, and I plan on taking profits that day. Then I'll watch it, and I might put if it's going to break down, I might put an exit on an alert on my breakdown levels. But typically I'm watching them enough so that I can see when they're getting close. In the daily chart, I mean, it only changes every day, so I'm not in any particular rush. I do have alerts on all my trades, but also all the stocks that I'm watching. I do have alerts at support and resistance levels, so I know when those occur, whether I'm in the trade or not in the trade. You assuming this means I'm not nickel and diming my option prices on the way in or out? I'm not. No. I'm trying to get in somewhere around the VWAP on the 5-minute if I'm entering a trade. Even if it's a swing trade and I'm going long and I'm going to be using the daily chart, I'm trying to get in at a good level on the 5-minute chart, which means something breaking above the VWAP or something like that. And then when I'm going to get out, I'm not nickel and diming anything. I'm just getting out when I feel like I've gotten close to resistance level, or I think this momentum is starting to wane in the position I'm in, and I'm in a take profits mode. I'm in a take profits mode. I'm watching it. It's moving up, for example, and then momentum starts to wane, and I've decided I'm going to take profits on it that day. Then I go ahead and take it off when the momentum stops. Yes, it is all of the options the prices are dependent on the underlying, and I'm using the underlying prices as my support and resistance levels. So, because options prices aren't necessarily going to be the same at a support or resistance level from one time to the next, because you've got implied volatility, you get time decay impacting option prices. SPY again. I'm out of the SPY. I told you I took this loss on the SPY Super System trade, 60 cents. I'm out of it here, and I'm probably not going to do any more on SPY Super Systems unless I can find something dramatic here. But what I'll likely do is on the SPY Super Systems is I may look for some stock trades using SPY Super System intraday strategies. In other words, watch for stocks breaking above the VWAP with good momentum if the stock has got a trend to it today, either long or short. Most stocks pretty choppy right now. Apple still pulling back here below the VWAP. Netflix still showing weakness. Nvidia showing good strength here right now. Good strength in Nvidia. Nvidia is right at the 100-day moving average, just got slightly above it. It's got resistance at 125.16, about a little over 125. candle there. Pretty nice little run up though. All right, coming up in lunchtime here. Just had a little coughing fit. NVIDIA still looks like a decent long. GAS, that was pointed out, bounced a little bit. Run that I already talked about, kind of moving sideways, SPY moving sideways. Again, I took a loss on my SPY trade back down here. I lost about 70 cents on it, 60 cents on it. And I like NVIDIA. Other than that, not an awful lot going on. I did trade INHD this morning for a profit. That's a momentum stock. Pulling back pretty hard. Again, here's the danger with momentum stocks. There's about a $9 loss drop right there. And I took some money, took some profits on GRYP this morning as well on a momentum trade, which is pulled back as well. So you got to be quick on those. You can't really post them. I tell you that they exist. You've got to learn how to trade them yourself on something like that. With this, I traded as it broke above the 8 here this morning. The VWAP, I mean, and took profits around 280 and out of that one. And I took some profits in the INHD as well earlier. Nothing like that. I get about $1 on the thing. So that's where we are. That's where we are. I'm going to stop and get some lunch. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the YouTube feed. Thanks very much, YouTube folks, for being here today. I appreciate it. I'll be back again on Tuesday. We'll see what kind of excitement we get overnight tonight. It's unlikely to be as much excitement as we had this morning after those announcements last night. All right, thanks very much.